All right, so today we are diving into Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Oh, fantastic.
Have you heard of this one?
I have. It's such a good one.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like the manual for like upgrading your habits and like really optimizing your life.
Yeah.
So we're going to unpack some of the core ideas from Atomic Habits
Love it.
and really try to figure out like what makes them tick and most importantly, how can we use them in
Yeah,
our own lives?
for sure. And one of the things I think is so refreshing about Clear's approach is that it's not your typical like rah-rah motivational hype.
Right.
He's actually like meticulously crafted this framework for habit change that's rooted in a lot of scientific research.
Cool.
He pulls from things like biology, neuroscience, even behavioral economics.
Wow. Okay, so this is like the real deal. This
Yeah.
is like,
It's legit.
okay, I'm hooked already. So where does he start?
So he kicks off with this really powerful metaphor of habits as atoms.
Okay.
So individually, they're tiny, maybe seem insignificant, but when they're combined together, they have this incredible power to shape who we are.
I love that. And it reminds me of that quote, we are what we repeatedly do.
Yes.
But it sounds like Clear takes that idea even further
He does.
with this book.
Yeah.
So he talks about how even like tiny improvements, when they're compounded over time,
Yes.
they can lead to like extraordinary results.
It's true. And that's where he talks about the valley of disappointment.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Have you heard of this?
I think so.
It's that initial phase, when you're putting in the work, but you're not seeing those dramatic results that we've been kind of conditioned to expect, like especially today.
Totally instant gratification. Like,
Yes.
where are my results?
Exactly. And it's like, he uses the example of planting a seed.
Okay.
You don't see that sprout right away.
Right.
You've got to nurture it. You've got to be patient.
It's true, but that can be so hard.
It is.
Especially in our world of like, I want it now.
Absolutely.
So how do we push through that valley?
Well, that's where the plateau of latent potential comes in.
Okay.
So it's this idea that as we're making those small changes, even if they seem insignificant, they're accumulating beneath the surface.
Okay.
And then, bam, you suddenly break through to this whole new level.
I like it.
It's like those compound interest curves they show you in finance books, but applied to your personal growth.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not about like chasing those quick fixes or like the hacks
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Not at all.
It's really about changing our systems,
Yes.
the like underlying habits
Exactly.
that drive those long-term results.
Precisely. And Clear actually gives us a practical framework for doing that. And he calls it the 4 laws of behavior change.
Okay, let's dive into those because I am all about actionable steps.
Let's do it.
Like, how can we use this?
Yeah.
So what's number 1?
All right. So the first law is all about making the cue for your desired habit obvious.
Okay.
It's this idea that our environment plays a much larger role in shaping our behavior than we realize.
Okay, making the cue obvious. So are we talking like sticky notes and reminders and things?
We'll think less about reminders and more about like strategically designing your environment.
Okay.
So Clear talks about this tactic that he uses called pointing and calling. And it was actually inspired by Japanese train conductors.
Really?
Yeah, so they actually like meticulously point and call out each signal and switch as they go.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, and it's about bringing conscious awareness to those small actions.
Okay.
Clear found that by verbally announcing his habits, even something as simple as like opening the fridge, he became so much more aware of those kind of like mindless patterns.
Wow, so it's like you're forcing yourself to like wake up to it.
Exactly.
Be like, oh, I'm doing this right now.
Confront those automatic behaviors. Yeah,
Okay. I can see how that would be really powerful for like breaking out of that autopilot mode.
absolutely.
Okay, what's the next law?
All right, so the second law is make it attractive. And this is all about that idea that we are naturally drawn to things that are pleasurable or rewarding. So Clear says we need to kind of like hack that and link our desired habits to things we already enjoy. And he calls this temptation bundling.
Okay. I love that temptation bundling. I need an example. Give me an example.
Okay, let's say you really want to start listening to that educational podcast you've been putting off,
Okay.
but you also love to catch up on your favorite fashion blog.
It's me.
So temptation bundling would be saying, okay, I'm only going to allow myself to visit that blog while I'm listening to this podcast.
Oh, I see. So you're like pairing a should with a want.
Exactly.
I love it.
And you're much more likely to do the thing you should be doing.
Right, because you're getting that little reward
Exactly.
at the same time.
Yes.
Okay, what is next?
All right. So our third law is all about removing friction, and it's make it easy. So this is where Clear introduces this really great tool called the 2-minute rule.
I think I've heard of this.
Yeah, have you?
It's like breaking it down into something really small.
Yes. So the idea is you take any habit that seems intimidating and you break it down into a 2-minute version that is so easy you almost feel silly not doing it.
Yes.
Like ridiculously easy to start.
Like instead of clean the whole kitchen, it's wash one dish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or instead of meditate for 30 minutes, it's sit with your eyes closed for 2 minutes.
Right.
And the brilliance of this is that it leverages inertia.
Okay, how so?
Well, once you've overcome that initial resistance of just starting, you're far more likely to keep going.
Oh, I see. It's like you're tricking your brain into like building that habit
Exactly.
without even realizing it, really.
Yeah. It's like the sneak attack approach to habit change.
Okay, so that was 3. What is the 4th and final?
All right, so our 4th law is all about reward and reinforcement. It's make it satisfying
Okay.
because we are far more likely to repeat something we enjoy, right?
Right, of course.
So we need to feel good about our habits, even in those early stages when maybe the results aren't that visible.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
It is, and Clear really emphasizes the importance of building in those immediate rewards.
Yes, because our brains are wired for instant gratification, like
Plus-
we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, so give me an example. What are some things that we could do to kind of build that into our routines?
Well, one thing I've seen is like those habit tracking apps
Oh, yeah?
that are really popular right now. They have those little things where you can check off each day
Yes,
and you get that little visual representation of your streak.
I love those.
Me too.
I think they're so satisfying.
And it can be really motivating, right?
Yes, it's like that sense of accomplishment, even if it's just a tiny thing.
Yeah, like I brushed my teeth 2 days in a row.
Exactly. You're like, yes, I'm on a roll.
I'm amazing.
Exactly. It's like you're hacking your own reward system
Mhm.
and you're turning those small wins into something you crave.
Totally. And it actually works. Like those streaks are very motivating for me. I don't know about you.
Oh, they totally work on me.
Okay, good. It's not just me.
No, you're in good company.
Okay, good, good.
But remember, even though we've kind of broken these down individually, the real magic happens when you put them all together.
Okay.
It's not enough to just have one.
They work together.
They really do. They
Yeah.
work synergistically to create this like powerful framework for sustainable habit change.
Awesome. Okay, so we've got these 4 laws working together. They're like our recipe for success.
Exactly.
But I keep thinking about that whole environment thing. Like
Yeah.
Clearl talks a lot about how our surroundings really shape our habits
They do.
more than we realize.
Yeah, sometimes we don't even realize it.
Right.
It's totally subconscious.
Like what's an example of that?
Okay, so he gives this really fascinating example about hand washing.
Okay.
So there was this study done in Pakistan, and the researchers found that simply by introducing a more pleasurable soap,
What?
like a soap that smelled better and felt nicer on the skin,
Okay.
it actually significantly increased hand washing rates.
Really? Just because people enjoyed using the soap more?
Yeah,
That's wild.
it is, and it shows you how even like small changes in our environment can have this huge ripple effect on our behavior.
It's true because if you think about it, like if your kitchen is always a disaster,
Right.
are you really gonna want to cook?
Probably not.
Like I'm just gonna order takeout.
It's so much easier.
Exactly.
But if your space is clean and inviting, you're like,
Ah.
oh yeah, I want to spend time in here.
Right.
I'm going to make a healthy meal.
Totally. It's like
Yeah.
Claire's saying, like, don't just rely on willpower.
No.
Like set yourself up for success.
Exactly.
Put yourself in the right environment.
It's like that old saying, out of sight, out of mind.
right.
But in this case, it's out of sight, out of habit.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about those initial sparks of motivation.
Yes.
But what about like the long game?
Yeah.
How do we keep that motivation up?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah, because the newness wears off.
It always does.
And then what?
Well, Clear actually shares this really interesting anecdote
Okay.
about this elite weightlifting coach.
Okay.
And the coach basically says that the key to success isn't passion. That's not intensity.
It's not.
It's actually the ability to handle the boredom of
Yeah.
doing the same thing over and over again.
That is both terrifying and reassuring at the same time.
It's true.
Because we're so used to like wanting to find that magic trick.
Right.
Like, what's the shortcut?
The hack.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes it really is just about like embracing the monotony
Yeah.
of building those good habits day after day.
It's about consistency. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it.
It's like that quote, motivation is fleeting, but discipline is what gets you there, or something like that.
Something like that,
Set.
yeah.
But that doesn't mean it has to be a total grind.
No, not at all.
Right.
Because Clear talks about this idea called the Goldilocks rule.
Okay. I feel like this is going to be good.
It is.
I like the name.
It's about finding that sweet spot
Okay.
where a task is challenging enough to keep you engaged,
Okay.
but not so difficult that you just want to give up.
Oh, I like that. So it's about finding that sustainable pace, that
Exactly.
rhythm that makes you want to come back for more.
Yes. And it's about progress over perfection.
Yes.
It's not about being perfect every single day. It's about those small incremental changes
right.
that lead to those big transformations over time.
I love that idea. And it makes me think like if our habits are constantly shaping us,
They are.
then it's really about like, who do I want to become?
Yes.
What are those little actions that I can take today and tomorrow and the day after to like nudge myself closer to that vision?
You are the sculptor of your own life.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's so empowering.
It is.
To think that we actually have that power
We do.
to design our lives.
One tiny habit at a time.
This has been awesome.
It's been so fun.
Thanks for breaking this all down with me.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
This was a good one. This was a good duck dive.
Yeah, this is great.
I feel very motivated to build some better habits.
Yes, me too.
Amazing. Well, to everyone listening, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.